Welcome back to Mostly Paleo, Always Delicious. Today's recipe is a jambalaya inspired dish. This meal is guaranteed to be on your dinner table in less than 30 minutes. So watch me as I make this healthy and delicious paleo meal. Today's jambalaya inspired meal will consist of shrimp, sausage, chicken broth. I have a frozen mix of tri-colored bell peppers, 1 whole onion, 3 to 4 cloves of garlic, about 4 ounces of basil, 1 to 2 stalks of celery depending on your preference, a 1/4 cup of tomato sauce, and then we have our dried seasonings today. So we have some Cajun or Creole seasoning, dried thyme, dried basil, dried oregano, black pepper, pink Himalayan salt, and paprika. We'll also call for 4 cups of frozen cauli rice. You can replace this with regular rice if you'd like. If so, to follow my recipe, replace it with cooked rice. Whenever you prepare Cajun or Creole dishes, it'll always consist of the Holy Trinity, which will be celery, onions, and bell peppers. Now I'm cheating a little today by using the frozen mix that I have that's already cut. You can use fresh, and if you do, feel free to use any color, whatever is your preference. But I would at least use 1 whole bell pepper, no matter what color you use. If you use all 3 colors, then I will do like 1/4 to half of each bell pepper. Now, because I enjoy garlic so much, I am going to add that, so I will chop this and add it, but this is not typical in a Holy Trinity. So now we'll just dice the celery and the onions and then do a rough chop on the garlic. So we've got our garlic and our celery and onion chops, so we're just going to set that to the side now. So let's talk shrimp and sausage. For the shrimp, I am using frozen shrimp. It's already been cleaned, veined, the tails are off, the shells are off. This just helps make my meal much easier to prepare and comes together much more quickly for me. Now, if you don't have clean shrimp, then just use whatever you have on hand. Just make sure it's cleaned and ready to go before you start preparing your meal. For the sausage, you would typically find an andouille sausage, but today I'm using a tomato and basil sausage in this recipe. Use whatever you like, whatever your preference is. I just really enjoy this tomato and basil sausage. So let's get everything together and make this meal. So I've got my pot on the stove. It's on a medium high. What I like to do when I'm cooking is let my pot come to temperature first. Make sure that it's nice and hot before I add my oil. I found this trick from another blogger, and I found that it really does help in keeping your dish nonstick. So I've added a couple tablespoons of avocado oil, and I'll just let that quickly come to temperature and get nice and warm like the pan is. Because of the sausage that I'm using, I don't have to slice it, but if you're using a typical andouille sausage or another style of Cajun sausage, you would just slice it before you put it in the pot. But because the sausage that I'm using is loose in a casing, I'm just going to squeeze it out of the casing and add it straight to the pan. And the reason I really like using this style sausage is that my meat gets incorporated throughout the whole dish. So I get meat with every single bite of rice, and it's not just a big chunk of sausage that I'm biting into. So let's just start browning just a little bit while I go wash my hands, and then we'll get that all mixed in. I'll let this cook for 2 to 3 minutes, and then I'm going to go ahead and add our Holy Trinity along with the garlic. The meat had cooked for 2 to 3 minutes. I've gone ahead and tossed in our Holy Trinity along with the garlic. So we'll just mix this all together. And then we'll let this cook for another 2 to 3 minutes so that the onions can start to become translucent. The onions are nice and translucent now, so we're going to add some more ingredients. We'll go ahead and add our tomato sauce, all of our dried seasoning, and then now we'll just give this a good stir. Make sure that all of the seasoning and the tomato sauce is incorporated. Next, we'll add in our frozen cauliflower rice. We'll just give this a good mix. And then now we'll add our chicken stock. So we're just going to let this cook for 10 to 15 minutes. We'll put the lid on it. After 10 to 15 minutes, we'll take the lid off, add the shrimp into the pan, let it cook for an additional 5 to 7 minutes. We just want the shrimp to cook through, and then we'll be ready to serve. So it's been cooking for about 15 minutes, and it's good to go. So now we're going to add our shrimp. Just give this a good mix so the shrimp can get evenly distributed. Then we'll put the lid on. We'll check this after 5 minutes. We don't want the shrimp to be overcooked. And see if it needs to cook for an additional few minutes after that or not. It's been about 5 minutes and the shrimp is just about done, so we'll go ahead and turn off the heat and then just let it finish cooking from the residual heat from the pan. I've taken the pan off of the heat, and now I have my 4 ounces of basil. You could do a chiffonade on this or whatever, but I just really like just taking it and shredding it by my hand, tearing it into pieces. Then we'll mix that in, and that's it. Our jambalaya is done. It's ready to eat. Oh, it smells so good. So that's it. I hope you enjoyed this recipe. If you liked what you saw, do not forget to hit that like button and subscribe to this channel. Thank you for watching, and see you guys next time.